Vladimir Putin attacks Ukraine, but in addition to Ukraine, Bangladesh and Sudan, for example, may also suffer. How so? And why you shouldn't blindly fall for such phrases as "Why do you always talk about Ukraine and forget about the countries of the Middle East?" So, let's begin. Have you heard about how the war in Ukraine is fueling hunger in many poor countries around the world? If not, then let's briefly discuss it. Do you know that Ukraine and Russia together export about 30% of world wheat? Now there are disruptions with that. Russians have banned exports due to fear of rising prices in the domestic market and also to blackmail the whole world, forcing to cancel sanctions. Ukraine cannot export grain because its seaports are under the gun of Russia, which blocks Ukrainian ships with grain. Although Moscow denies that, but anyway, all this led to huge problems. It's also worth noting that both Russia and Ukraine export approximately 75% of sunflower oil. There is no ban on its export, but difficulties with logistics cause serious problems. The largest importers of grain and sunflower oil are the countries of the Middle East and Africa. There is an opinion that this deficit will not become catastrophic and the solution will be found. However, what do we have today? Firstly, due to the lack of grain, sunflower oil, corn and sugar, the number of people on the planet who lack food has increased by almost 3.5 times, from 450 million to about 1.5 billion, of which 250 million on the verge of starvation. Secondly, the grain available in the world has risen in prices by 30%, which led to what? Yes, as usual, an increase in prices for almost all products, which made humanity as a whole poorer, because you have to spend more money on food than before. And so, as a result of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the whole world is getting poorer and suffering. By the way, this is also one of the reasons why I don't like questions like, why you were silent about Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, why all attention to Ukraine? Well, firstly, no one was silent about the Middle East, it's always on everyone's lips. It's just that in Middle East, it seems to me, the wars are more complicated since there are a lot of parties of the conflict. And secondly, as you already understood, the war in Ukraine can directly affect the well-being of people living in the Middle East, and not only.